So I really just want to talk to you guys about one idea today. And that idea is the virtues of ignorance. And that is the value of not knowing the right way to do something in the creative field. And how that is an idea that should be nurtured, not an idea that should be corrected. So obviously I need to get into that, but I thought I would start with a movie, a little 3-minute movie, that really articulates exactly what that is. Plus it's kind of funny, so maybe you guys will laugh at it. If you don't find it funny, just laugh anyways, so I'll get super insecure if you don't. I'm getting a ticket for riding my bike not in the bike lane.
Valid and guilty, not guilty. Everything you need.
What's the fine?
You're a bicyclist, so it's anywhere from $10 up to $130, depending on your record. But it's a bicycle summons. A bicycle summons is for not riding in a bicycle lane.
You know.
Lower. The red light's coming.
So I got a ticket for not riding in the bike lane, but often there are obstructions that keep you from properly riding in the bike lane.
Listen up. As you've been hearing on our show and elsewhere, the police continue to crack down on biking infractions. As the number of bikers explodes throughout the city, ticketing is on the rise. Casey in Manhattan, you got a ticket this month?
Yeah, I got a ticket about 3 weeks ago for riding my bike not in the bike lane.
Not in the bike lane. Alex is holding up a sign that says, you could have just said it.
Oh, okay.
His sign says, not illegal.
Yeah.
I wish I had known that before I paid the $50 ticket.
Well, so...
So the motivation to make that movie is I was just really pissed off. Like, I shouldn't have gotten a ticket. I'm like, riding my bike. Come on, give a guy a break. And I didn't really know what the right way to correct the situation was, so I just made that movie, and like 48 hours and 5 million views on YouTube later, the mayor of New York City is having to address that movie in a press conference. The police, thank you. The police sort of back off a little bit on pursuing cyclists. It was all over the news, and maybe most poignantly, the New York Times called me. New York Times is a small publication out of New York City. And they asked if I would make movies for them. And I started making movies for them shortly thereafter. So how does one go about affecting the law and change in New York City? How does one get a job at the New York Times? I have no idea, but that's one way. Okay, so I'm going to back way up and talk about, give you a little abbreviated bio, which is that I grew up in the States in like a middle-class sort of town, went to public school, and I was always in trouble, and I mean like a permanent state of being in trouble. like just perpetually in trouble. Like I can't remember a moment where I wasn't like this, worried my parents were going to find out whatever I was in trouble for at that moment. Just constantly in trouble. And if there's one like mantra that I can remember being fed to me by my teachers and those people who were the ones that put me in trouble, it was that I was doing something wrong. And by doing it wrong, what they meant was I wasn't doing it the way you were supposed to do it. And that trajectory actually, that's never really changed. Now I just sort of changed everything else, so now I'm doing it right, but not because I've changed anything on my own. But that trajectory continued through school until I dropped out of high school in the 10th grade. Never finished high school. I never went on to college. I never really had any formal training, especially in the film world. I just got a computer at the first opportunity I had to get a computer, and I really fell in love with this process of telling stories or sharing ideas or sharing perspectives through video. I didn't know the way you were supposed to make movies. I didn't know how you were supposed to use a camera. I didn't know how you were supposed to distribute films. I didn't have a clear understanding of any of that. And what happens when you don't know how to do something, and what happens when you're not taught the right way to do something, is that you're forced to forge your own path. And that in itself, I think now, looking back the last 15 years of making movies with some level of success, is the most valuable asset that I've had in my entire career, is having never been taught the formal way, the right way, the correct trajectory, the correct path to have taken to have succeeded in this highly competitive world of creativity. And what I attribute that to is one really, really sort of basic idea or thought process, which is that the nature of creativity, whether it's for design, whether it's for filmmaking, whether it's for photography or politics or any world that requires a kind of thinking that yields something that's unprecedented, which is how I would define creativity, is our brains are trying to come up with something that there's no precedent for. Our brains are trying to figure out something that there is no answer for, there's no instruction manual for. And that's like a scary, panicky place to be. And when you're in that place, you're searching for anything to grasp onto. And if there is something there that's been taught to you, if there's something there that is a fundamental explanation of the correct way to do it, that is immediately what you'll default to, because that's just the nature of our brains. I was with some friends, and we were making a movie, and they're much younger than me, and they were really excited to be working with me, and we had this fun idea. And before we went out to shoot it, they're like, oh, I know a guy who did something that's sort of like this. Let's watch his movie first for inspiration. And I flipped out. I was like, shut that laptop! Because had we seen that right before we went out to do something that there was ostensibly no precedent for, especially in our heads, we would have just immediately defaulted to what we had just seen. That is the nature of creativity. Now, for me, it's about fighting all of that. It's about rejecting what I know. And what that means, I wrote down on my hand when I need to play the next movies so I don't go over time. So if you see me looking at my hand, the one without the watch on it, I'm not like a totally crazy person. I'm just trying to like keep things moving. So what that means is like, the first feature film, or the last feature film that I made, I produced it, and it was wildly successful, and we premiered it at the Cannes Film Festival, and it was a big success. And we made that movie the way that I know how to make things, which is you never ask permission, you just figure it out. There's a big museum in New York City, and we didn't have permission to film in there. In fact, they explicitly said, no, you can't film in here. So we broke this gigantic 16mm film camera down into 100 parts. We put it in 10 different backpacks, and we just kind of walked in with it. And then we had people us playing Lookout, and we set up this huge camera and sound teams and the whole thing. We're like, action. And we filmed it in the museum. And the movie was amazing. But we distributed it the traditional way. We distributed it with a distributor. It was in theaters. And that process was a nightmare for me. I hated it. I hated that process of distribution. That was around the same time that I had made a TV show. And I made that TV show the only way I know how to make things. We paid for it ourselves. We made the entire show, and then we went out and we shopped it. And we sold it. We sold it to HBO for a couple $1 million. It was a wild success. But HBO is this very traditional kind of dinosaur when it comes to distribution, and we were beholden to their means of distribution, which was a fucking nightmare. It was terrible. It took them like 2 years to get it on air. I hated it. And I rejected all of that and eventually just kind of went to YouTube, because YouTube is definitely not the way you're supposed to distribute content when you have the kind of opportunities that I had after HBO and successful feature films and things like that. But it felt right, and I didn't really care like who said that wasn't the right place to distribute films. It was some understanding that I didn't subscribe to. And it was in turning to YouTube that I really found my voice and really found some success. That success was mostly in the movies that I made because I loved making movies. And then because of that, I was given some opportunities in the advertising world. And what those look like is ad agencies coming to us and saying, look, here's a script, and here's a storyboard, which is literally like a bunch of pictures, which is how you're supposed to make your frame look. And they're like, can you make this for us? Because we think you're so creative. And I was like, what do you need me for? Like, get a robot to do this. You've already done all the work. But I did it anyways. It's like a fat paycheck. I don't know. Whatever. It's like, what I say about that world is it's like a nice place to visit, but a better place to rob. That's a Beastie Boys line. I didn't write that. And in any event, I wasn't good at it, and I wasn't making great work, so I had this idea, which is like, why don't you guys just let me do my thing, and somehow I'll make sure it benefits your brand. And nobody really thought that was a great idea, believe it or not, except Nike. Nike is a friend of mine. I love the company. They make great shoes. And they came to me, and they're like, hey, we have this new product. Can you make us a video for it? And I was like, sure. And I was like, here, this is my idea. What do you think? They're like, great. And then they gave me all the money. Don't ever do that. They gave me the whole budget to make it. And at the 9th hour, I was like, you know what? And I was talking to my editor. I was like, let's not do this Nike commercial. Like, fuck that. Let's just take this whole budget, and let's do something I've always wanted to do, which is let's just travel around the world, and we'll blow every penny of it running around the world. Like, I've never had this much money to blow on airplanes before. And he was like, you're absolutely crazy. You're going to go. So that's what we did. And I handed that into Nike, and they're like, Casey, what is this? There's no Nike products in this. You're not even wearing Nikes in this video. But Nike's cool, and they're like, okay, I guess you can put it on your YouTube channel, which I did, and that video went on to be the most watched video Nike had ever put on the internet at the time. And then I sort of made a thing out of that. And 20th Century Fox asked me to promote one of their movies. And I was like, great, what's the budget? And it was $25,000. And I was like, great, I can make you a promotional film for that much money. And they gave me the whole budget again. You'd think they'd learn. And this was right when that terrible typhoon, Yolanda, had hit the Philippines. So instead of making them a movie that promoted their movie, I just took the whole budget to the Philippines and led a relief mission, a one-man relief mission, and we distributed all of that money via bags of rice to the people that had been affected by this typhoon. And again, thank you. I handed that into 20th Century Fox, and they're like, you don't really even mention the movie in this. And then Ben Stiller, who had directed the movie that I was supposed to be promoting, saw it, and he really stepped up, and he was like, Casey, this is great. And they put that out, and that movie had more media impressions than the actual feature film. It was very successful. So, anyways, I've kind of been able to forge a career by doing that. Now, I wanted to show you guys a really awesome South African themed movie that I had made. The trouble is, in showing this movie, when it's over, there's like a what happened next kind of question. And then I made a movie that answers what happens next, but when that movie's over, then there's like, what happened next? And then I made a movie that answers the what happens next movie. But then we're up to 3 movies, and it's like, you flew me all the way to South Africa so I could show you my videos, like, no, you should talk more. But then I was like, the whole premise of my talk is about not doing it the way you're supposed to do it. So I'm going to show you 3 movies right now. And they're not my advertising work, and they're not the work that I've made a living doing, and they're not anything I was paid to do, but they are certainly the reason why I've been able to do everything else, is because of work like this. And this movie and movies like this, I make this movie, did you guys just see my path? I make this movie because I love making films. Ready? Okay. From New York City to Cape Town, South Africa. How much? So I bought a plane ticket. My flight leaves in 4.5 hours, so I have to go home and pack. This will definitely be the furthest I've ever traveled and definitely the most expensive surprise I've ever done. Going to JFK.
I can see you all fading down the river, feel like a holding tree. I can see you all it's around me, and you still like that, like a hawk, it's really lying all. I can see you all it's around me. I said it's her, you gonna tell. I say, hey, I want you, girl. And you say like that, say, oh, it's too real, I give it. I can see you all, it's around me. Yeah, you stay like clear, radius finger, it's around like a bloody free. I can see you all, it's around you. Stay like a hey, you gotta tell. I can tell, you gotta tell. I say, I say,
29 hours later, I made it to Africa. Now I just have to find the girl. I only vaguely know where she lives.
Do you know the street name?
I don't. But I know it by eye. You know, so I'll point where to go. Maybe that was it. This picture is the only visual aid I have. There's the mountain, and there's the mountain. Sorry to make you drive around like that.
No problem.
Okay, good.
No problem, please.
Sorry, this is definitely not it. This is definitely right. Yeah, this is it. I think we got it. That's the house. But good, drop me up here, drop me up here, drop me. That's her house.
Okay.
Okay, I'm about 70% sure that's her house. But they don't know that I'm coming, and even though it's pretty down here, it's dangerous, and I know that they have an armed 24-hour guard. So I need to surprise her, but at the same time not get shot. So I'm just gonna ring the doorbell. It's 7 in the morning. It's time for him to wake up anyways. There she is, his mom. Happy New Year. Where's your daughter?
game. But I thought I'd ask you just the same. What are you doing New Year's? New Year's Eve. Who's gonna be the one who holds you tight when it's exactly 12 o'clock at night? Welcoming in the New Year's Eve. Maybe I'm crazy.
Honey, sorry, I totally forgot about the bikini shot. Have you ever seen your ass on such a big screen before? Okay, what happened next, right? Do you guys, you want to see what happened? Okay.
Dr. Post office, Nancy speaking.
Yeah, can you tell him it's Casey?
Okay, Casey, just a second.
Thank you.
Hello?
Dr. Poole,
What's up?
I want to ask your daughter to marry me, and I'm looking for your blessing.
Oh, that's a good business to call me about. Of course. Not doing much. I've always liked you.
I want to ask Candace to marry me.
I'm finished. Oh my God, I'm finished. I'm gonna faint. Get me. I can't breathe. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy, Casey. You don't understand.
Talk to me, tell me stuff. I don't care anything. What did you do today? No way. I never thought I would feel like this now, but I think I might love.
Southern coast of Africa, garden route. Don't know.
January 6th, 5th, 2005?
Something like that.
2006.
2006. You're my hero, Casey. You have to wait till I touch you. You came so close.
There we are. It is cool, like I always wanted to. And you know, chase it right, overgrown. I never thought I would feel like this now, but I think I might.
He went down on the rock.
Take it easy, baby. Take it easy, baby. Take my hand.
So do you want to know?
Yeah, what did he say?
It's a girl.
No way, I never could.
What happened next? Okay, ready? Uh-oh. What's happening? I just booked the first flight out of San Francisco, getting me into Houston, where Candace is. Candace doesn't think there's any way she'll have the baby before I get there, but she also didn't think that she'd go into labor before I got back to Houston next week. It's now been an hour and 35 minutes since I got the text. At least I made the flight. 2 hours since I got the text. It's now been like almost 5 hours since I got the text saying that her water broke. Santa Clara Smart Loop, sorry guys. Okay, off the plane in Houston. 6.5, 7 hours since she went into labor. That's why you always travel with a skateboard.
Yeah, family.
I'm in a wicked hurry.
Okay.
My wife's in labor.
Okay.
We're having a baby.
Yeah, let's.
She called me this morning and I was in California and she says my water broke.
But I'll get you there in 35 minutes.
All right, I'll take that. Let's boogie. Hey Dad, I don't have time to talk, but Candace went into labor. Jordan.
Hey.
Candace went into labor. She's at the hospital. Everything's good.
The weather outside is frightful.
This is my mom's outgoing message.
So please leave it after the beat.
Keep going. Cross this intersection there. Yeah, pull in right here. Okay, I'm just gonna get out. Gotta be the only dad in the history of ever to skateboard to the hospital for his daughter's birth. Congratulations.
Go ahead and keep both. First left.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Doctor, how are you? So that's pretty much it. Why make movies like that? Why share such intimacy? And I don't think it's because I'm a big some sort of voyeurist. I don't think it's anything like that. I just think, I don't know how to write a romantic comedy. I don't know how to write, or I don't know how to make a film about science fiction. I love Steven Spielberg, but I don't know anything about giant sharks. What I know are these experiences from my life. And these are the experiences that I know how to share. These are the ideas and the stories that I know how to share. And I don't know how to sell a car for Mercedes-Benz, but I know how to tell my story. And I don't know how to sell a product for Nike, but I know how to share an experience. So coming back to where I started and coming back to that one idea that I wanted to talk about today, it is only by nurturing and embracing that lack of understanding, embracing that ignorance, that I've been able to do what I've been able to do. Guys, thank you.